too. Sorry about that. We lost connection, even though I'm right across the hall from the damn uh, internet router. Anyway, we're talking about an absolute emotional roller coaster that has completely reshuffled the landscape of both asphalt and the dirt. We're breaking down the heartbreaking loss of generation-defining legend Kyle Busch, whose sudden passing cast a massive shadow over Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the incredible tributes we paid to him on the track. We've got an in-depth look at Daniel Suarez's historic, emotional Coca-Cola 600 triumph, Ross Chastain's wild, rain-shortened watermelon smash in the O'Reilly Series, Layne Riggs' clock-beating Truck Series tribute victory, and Carson Macedo's Masterclass at Jacksonville, along with Aaron Reisel continuing his mind-bending, unstoppable May hot streak at Knoxville. And I also have a special guest with me tonight, Jason Schweitzer, to help cover the Indy 500. I'm Russ Fritz telling you to put that visor down because Switchin Grooves is green, 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 and we're diving deep into the technical decisions, the split-second driver choices, and the massive off-track drama that has defined this entire week. What's going on there, Jason? How you been, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Russ, how have you been?
Oh, not too bad myself, but Nathan is actually off tonight. He had some things going on, so he just couldn't make it tonight. So I hope he's doing well. He said he had to go to his race shop tonight, so I know he's probably getting his stuff ready to go racing this coming weekend. So good luck to him, and I hope he gets his stuff in tip-top shape and represents that Switch and Grooves cart really, really well this weekend. But Jason, I'll tell you, man, the global motorsports community was plunged into a deep mourning last Thursday following the sudden and tragic passing of Kyle Busch at just the age of 41. Widely regarded as one of the most accomplished, fierce, and polarizing figures in the history of the sport. Busch won a record shattering 234 races across NASCAR's top three national divisions. But the medical evaluation that was released by his family concluded that a severe pneumonia infection rapidly progressed into sepsis, leading to sudden, overwhelming systematic complications. Bush had actually been battling what was initially believed to be a severe sinus cold while racing Watkins Glen back on the 10th of May, I believe,
Yeah,
and
just
he
let's go.
he even requested a shot immediately after finishing in eighth position. Showing his trademark grit, he bounced back just days later to win the Craftsman Truck Series race at Dover on May 15th and to compete in the All-Star race on May 17th. However, while testing in the Chevrolet Racing Simulator at Concord back on Wednesday, Bush became unresponsive and was rushed to a Charlotte area hospital where he unfortunately passed away the following day. The NASCAR industry responded with a massive wave of grief and tribute. Richard Childress Racing temporarily retired the iconic number 8, declaring it would remain sidelined until Bush's 11-year-old son Brexton is old enough to pilot it. For Sunday's Coca-Cola 600, all 39 cars in the field carried a special black number 8 decal on the B pillar, and Austin Hill was tapped to substitute in the number 33 Chevrolet. So, a massive, massive loss for NASCAR and the entire motorsports community. Oh my gosh, man, it was something that we never ever thought we would ever have to report on. And this will be my last report on it, along with the tribute that I did to him last night, because I don't want to drag it on like many people are still doing. But didn't get a chance to get my regular show in yesterday. Nathan had some things going on, and so did I as well. So just a lot, how it is Memorial Day, Family Day, a big family day, stuff like that. So uh, this will be my last report on Kyle Busch, not to disrespect him, but to actually honor him. And as I said in my tribute, Kyle, we thank you for the memories and everything that you brought to this sport. And we hope you enjoy taking your final bow holding that golden checkered flag. So rest in peace, Rowdy. Now, on to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Well, the NASCAR Truck Series North Carolina Education Lottery 200 was originally scheduled for Friday night, but was postponed 3 times due to persistent rain, and finally getting the chance to run on Sunday morning under NASCAR's adverse conditions provision, which is a race against the clock due to the rescheduled Sunday morning start. NASCAR enforced a strict noon time limit on the race to ensure that uh, the track could be prepped in time for the evening's Cup Series race, and also to give way for fans to watch the Indianapolis 500. So this actually created a frantic, hyper aggressive environment on the mile and a half, I think it is, intermediate oval, and
Yes.
it resulted in a track record 11 cautions. Ultimately, only 110 of the scheduled 134 laps were completed before the clock expired. So Layne Riggs in the number 20 or 34, excuse me. I believe that's a front row motorsports Ford was actually the class of the field. He led a race high 52 laps and captured the stage 2 victory. And after a final restart on lap 104, Riggs received a crucial draft from his teammate Chandler Smith to clear the field and secure the lead. On lap 106, Chandler Smith spun directly underneath Connor Zilisch off turn 2, which brought out the 11th caution, which was also the final caution of the race. Riggs paced the field under yellow as the clock officially struck noon, and that locked down his second victory of the season. In a deeply emotional victory lane celebration, Riggs performed the Kyle Busch signature deep bow to the grandstands, sobbing on his window ledge as he dedicated the victory to the fallen legend. So, congratulations to him. Wasn't a very interesting race to me. They couldn't barely run 5 laps without going cautions, so I'll leave that at what it is. But um, you know, how I don't know how I want to say this, but I'm trying to get into Day's airborne crash and the standings. So Riggs was followed across the line by Caden Honeycutt, Connor Zilisch, Ben Rhodes, Ruggiero, and stage 1 was actually won by Christian Eckes. I don't know why I was thinking of Ross Chastain. That's the O'Reilly series. But stage 1 was won by Christian Eckes, who actually finished sixth in the end. And Caden Honeycutt's runner-up finish allowed him to protect his championship points lead, holding a 11-point advantage over Riggs. So right now, so the race featured a terrifying moment though on lap 47. 20-year-old rookie Corey Day, also a sprint car driver, he started from the pole in Aspire Motorsports number 7 and was running in the top 10. Day had actually attempted to block a hard charging Ruggiero on the backstretch. Now that resulted in nose to tail contact and sent Day's truck sideways, which made it catch air and sent the vehicle actually into a fid or yeah a full mid air rotation. Scary, scary crash. The truck landed upright on its wheels before it slammed into the inside turn 3 wall, with immense, immense force. I mean, this was horrific. Day actually walked away from the infield care center uninjured, but expressed deep disappointment at failing to finish the race, especially in Busch's honor, driving the truck that Busch was supposed to drive. But my huge concern is the fact that that truck actually landed and hit the wall in the infield, and that wall has no catch fencing whatsoever. I mean, that could have been just horrendous if that truck would have went over the wall. I mean, this, and I am not knocking NASCAR whatsoever. Something they never thought they would have to really think about, probably. But, you know, the thing that does disappoint me about them is they have gone to safer barriers on inside walls now. Why not catch fencing? So I won't harp on it, but NASCAR, I hope that this makes you see that we need catch fencing no matter where it's at, inside, outside. I mean, we don't go to dirt tracks that have a wall all the way around the inside, especially tracks like Eldora that they actually pit in the infield. You know, the infield is the pit area too, and there's a catch fence all the way around there, except for the openings for the cars to go on and off of the racetrack. Other than that, there is a catch fence all the way around that place, and um, we need to do better. I mean, especially with you know losing losing Kyle, and then that brings back the memories of losing Dale and how we lost Dale during a race, which is what made the safer barriers become mandatory. So I hope that we change that, and when we go back to Charlotte later in the year, that there is catch fencing there. So um, it was scary, but I'm so glad to see Corey Day walk away from that. You never want to see anybody get hurt, no matter how much you like them or hate them. It's just never a good thing, and I never ever wish that on anybody. So, moving on to NASCAR O'Reilly Parts Series. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series actually featured a bizarre and chaotic running of the Charbroil 300, and it let's say drivers faced multiple rain delays and fog and track surface contamination. So, a 4 hour red flag, absolutely insane to me. Um, 4 hours is just too long to be waiting, if you ask me. But the inclement weather just heavily disrupted the schedule all weekend long. It forced the cancellation of Saturday's qualifying session, and that made everybody line up by points. So that put point leader Justin Allgaier and rookie Corey Day on the front row based on the metric formula. The green flag waved at 5:01, but the race went only 27 laps before heavy rain forced a red flag again. And, well, forced a red flag during the race. I shouldn't say again, but forced stoppage of the day's activities. And that halted the field for 4 hours and 21 minutes. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
man, but they couldn't just call it. That's the shitty part. They couldn't just call it because they actually started the race.
Yeah.
When they refired engines at 9:45 p.m., Allgaier led the field back to green under a damp, misty night sky where low-hanging fog began to make visibility extremely difficult for grandstand spotters. So on lap 42, Allgaier got loose over the bumps in turn 3, allowing rookie Connor Zilisch to capitalize and take the lead. Zilisch held off the field to win stage 1 on lap 45. Stage 2 actually commenced with a major pileup on lap 53. Sheldon Creed made contact with Brandon Jones, hooking Jones' uh, number 20 Toyota across the track and collected Brent Cruz and Harrison Burton in the hard impact against the turn 3 wall. Shortly after the restart, Ross Chastain, driving the JRM number 9, actually began charging using a strong high side run to pass Austin Hill for the lead on lap 60. I know Cole, he always goes to the outside. But
Good reference.
Sam Mayer slammed into the turn two wall hard on lap 61, which brought out another caution. And on the ensuing restart, Jesse Love executed the daring three wide pass to take the top spot, triggering a fierce multi lap battle where Chastain and Love swapped the lead four times. Chastain successfully reclaimed the lead on lap 72, and on lap 73, the race completely fell into bizarre territory. Dawson Cram's number 35 suffered an engine failure, depositing a massive trail of fluid all over the racetrack, and turn one right in the racing line. And with no warning, eight front running cars slid through the liquid. Leader Ross Chastain drifted high and slammed the outside wall, but actually miraculously kept his car straight and retained the lead. Behind him, other drivers were actually not so fortunate, though. Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray, and Jeremy Clements all spun and collided with the wall in the slick. So, not a very, very good ending to the race. But due to the oil spill and persistent drizzling rain, the heavy fog, NASCAR was forced to run the remainder of the stage under caution. And because the track was too damp to dry and spotters couldn't see anymore, they just couldn't see at all. NASCAR red flagged the race after lap 91, and officials declared the race official 109 laps short of the scheduled distance, handing Chastain his first O'Reilly Series win since 2019 and his first career victory at Charlotte. In an emotional victory lane, Chastain also took a deep bow in honor of Kyle Busch before smashing a watermelon from the roof of his car like he always does. So, just, I don't know, man. It was crazy. Jesse Love finished second, followed by Austin Hill, William Sawalich, and Corey Day. All Guyers, despite the crash, finished 29th and retained a 145-point lead in the standings. Amazing.
Dang.
But now, over on the Cup Series side, well, it was actually the 67th running of the Coca-Cola 600, and it was an emotionally charged, strategically volatile, and rain-shortened affair that culminated in a historic breakthrough. So the race-defining strategic gamble um, was, how do I put it? So the race was highly competitive. It featured 32 lane changes among 13 drivers. Toyota teams actually held absolute control over the race. Pole sitter Tyler Reddick was a dominant force, leading a race high 119 laps, and his JGR teammates, Denny Hamlin, who led 75 laps, and Christopher Bell held the point for much of the night. But stage wins were split methodically, with Kyle Larson taking stage one, Denny Hamlin capturing stage two, and Christopher Bell asserting his dominance in stage three. But, however, the entire complexation, I'll say, of the race shifted on lap 354 when the yellow flag flew for light rain and lightning. Now, knowing that heavier rain was rapidly approaching from the west, crew chief Ryan Sparks made a brilliant high stakes tactical call. While the dominant JGR and 2311 Toyotas pitted for four fresh tires, Sparks ordered Suárez to take only two tires, uh, and that made him gain invaluable track position to inherit the lead. Now, when the green flag waved on lap 360, Suarez faced immense pressure from Bell, Hamlin, Reddick, and Larson. That was a good battle. Uh, but despite his rivals possessing a significant tire grip advantage, Suarez executed a masterclass in defensive aerodynamics. I mean, he placed his car perfectly in the clean air lanes, uh, took away the nose down force of Christopher Bell, and that prevented the pass. So Suarez defended the lead with white knuckled intensity, uh, and through two late restarts until lap 373, when the skies just opened up, man. I mean, when it started raining, it started pouring, and NASCAR had to red flag the race, and they called it 27 laps short. Not a big deal. There was at least 2 hours or more worth of prep time to get the track ready again. No need to waste time and drag it out for 27 laps. I mean, we would have loved to seen it go green the full time, but we don't want to stay up all night again. We already did that the night before. We don't want to do it again. So, uh, it was crazy. But with the victory, Suarez made it his. I'll just I'll start over. Suarez actually made history as the first driver born outside of the United States to win the prestigious Coke 600. It actually marked his third career Cup victory since first joining Spire Motorsport, and his first since joining Spire Motorsports, and he snapped an 82 race personal winless streak. In a highly emotional victory lane, Suarez and his pit crew celebrated with a Rowdy Nation banner dedicating the historic win to the late Kyle Busch, who had actually played an instrumental role in helping Suarez transition to racing in the United States when Suarez first arrived in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series from Mexico in 2014. So, great tribute there. Really nice to see somebody that Kyle Busch helped out to get his big break, win this race. So, um, really kind of a special win there. But the rest of the top 10 behind Suarez, it was Bell, Hamlin, Reddick, and Larson consisted of Ty Gibbs in sixth, Ryan Blaney in seventh, Joey Logano eighth, William Byron ninth, and Zane Smith 10th. Catherine Legg attempted a legendary Memorial Day double, and after an early accident ended her night, or her day, I should say, in the Indy 500. She made a rapid flight to Charlotte, climbed into her cup car, and completed 361 laps to finish 31st. Well, the Indy 500 itself was um, won by, well, I'll let Jason talk about that.
All right.
I don't want to take that away from you, but no, the brutal physical nature of the concrete to asphalt transition was evident in several major accidents. Chase Elliott's Hendrick number 9 crashed out on lap 89. A heavy early race incident eliminated Austin Cindric, along with Connor Zilisch, while Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, and Ross Chastain were all collected later in multi-car wrecks as drivers actually fought desperately for track position before the rain. Man, it was just crazy. But um, I think that's all I got for NASCAR. And before I move on to World of Outlaws, I'll let you discuss the Indy 500.
All right. Sunday was the 110th Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. It was quite a great race because I was there personally, my first 500 since 2004. Um, Alex Palou was the pole sitter for this race, and for the first 16 to 17 laps, him and Alexander Rossi were fighting back and forth for the lead. And altogether, it was like for the first 15 or 16 laps, Rossi led 5, while Palou led 10 to 11 of them. We had 7 cautions, unfortunately, in the race. The first one came out at lap 18. It was right after they had done a tribute to Kyle Busch, which was very nicely done. It was pretty touching. A lot of people in the stands and from where I was sitting at were all affected by it as well. But our first caution came out on lap 18 with Ryan Harray spinning and wrecking off of turn 2. And in the process of doing that, Catherine Legg was behind him and had nowhere to go. So she had to turn the wheel to the left, and when she did that, it slammed her into the inside wall. Luckily, the safer barrier plate was there to cushion the blow for her, but it's still a heck of a hit. We went all the way to lap 25 for the caution, and then lap 26 was restart. Then we had a second caution come out for Ed Carpenter for wrecking off a turn. What was that turn? Sorry, turn 3. He wrecked. So they did that all the way to. Let me get my notes. Sorry about this. Yeah, it was turn 1. I'm sorry. He wrecked on turn 1 because Takuma Sato was on his outside, got him loose, and caused him to wreck into turn 1. The caution went all the way to lap 31. Our third caution fell on lap 93 when Will Power wrecked on the pit road access lane, and the weather started raining a bit, so they threw the caution for that. Our fourth caution, sorry, that caution lasted from lap 93 to lap 108. Our fourth caution fell for conditions again on lap 116 of lap 124. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they red flagged and brought the cars in for a little bit to see if the rain would let up, and luckily it did eventually. Our fifth caution fell on lap 125 when Joseph Newgarden, two-time Indy 500 champion, crashed in turn 4 on a restart.
Mm. That
And
had to
that,
hurt.
yeah, that was a heck of a hit too. I mean, I was sitting in turn 3 in the infield, and I saw on the screen. I was just like a lot of people were wondering if he was hurt, but luckily he got it out under his own power and stuff. So everybody gave him a round of applause for that. That lasted from lap 125 to lap 131. Our sixth caution fell for rookie Caillou Colette for crashing in turn 2. That was lap 192 to 195. Our final caution of the race was on lap 197 to 198 when rookie Mick Schumacher made contact with the turn 2 wall, but he's able to continue. He kept his foot and just kept on going, which was good because I was rooting for him, of course. So the finish was a one lap shootout between.
Now that went green and white together, right?
Yes,
Literally, it
it
was
was.
literally one lap because they don't do overtime like NASCAR, so they don't go green, white, checkered. They just go green and white together, or if they're under a caution, they'll just throw the checkers, right?
Yes, they'll either do a
Okay.
green white checker or green white like you said checkered, or they'll do a yellow and checkered. They don't do overtime, unfortunately. They
Which
should,
I
but
don't I don't know IndyCar like some people do, so that's why I ask. I've never seen an IndyCar race in person. So, and I don't really follow it. Nothing against it. I just never have.
oh, that was a great question. Um, the green white finish on like I said, the restart with lap 199 was a three-way battle between David Malukas, Pato O'Ward, and Felix Rosenquist. Felix Rosenquist and his teammate Pato O'Ward were fighting back and forth for second, going into the backstretch, and he ended up clearing his teammate coming into 3, and he set his eyes on David Malukas. And they came down the front stretch, and Malukas was trying to break the draft, but Rosenquist pulled out the right time, and passed him and won the race by 0.0233 seconds. which is
That that
huh?
was I was watching another streamer's episode earlier, and he was discussing this, but that was done on the outside, I believe, too, right? And they don't usually do that. Am I correct?
Yeah, usually they would do it on the inside, like you said. They don't usually do it on the outside because it's so much
Man,
to miss, especially after rookie J.R. Hillenbrand hit the wall there in 2011. That's why it's a gutsy call to make. But if you have confidence in your car and you want it to stick, hopefully, why not take a shot at it?
and I cannot believe the speeds that these guys were pulling. I mean, I at one time I saw on the screen the guy was doing what 227 miles per hour, and that is absolutely freaking insane to see that on any kind of racing except drag racing, because it's a straight line. But to see that on a road course or an oval track or whatever you call Indy, I mean, they call it an oval. I call it a rectangle, but it's very unique. It's cool. I like it. But man, to see such speeds at tracks like they run at is absolutely amazing. And to see those guys crash and to just walk away, that right there shows you the, I don't know, the safety that they put so much into the safety of these drivers. And I'll tell you what, I really, really tip my hat to Indy and F1 and even now NASCAR because we haven't lost a driver on track since Dale Earnhardt. So, and I don't think Indy has lost a driver during that particular race since like 73, if I
Yeah,
recall correctly.
I believe it was 1973 is the last time we lost a driver at, at the actual 500 on track, like you're saying.
I'm not sure the last time Indy lost a driver altogether wasn't Dan Weldon's crash, was it? And it was at Vegas.
Yeah, Dan Williams' crash was in Las Vegas in October of 2011.
But that was
Unfortunately,
that the last time that we lost a driver during a race?
yes, it is.
Okay. That was just a wild guess, to be honest with you. I didn't even look that one up, but I did a little research on the safety of the cars, and I did see that the Indy one from 1973. That was pretty interesting to me that they have put that much amount of safety concern into these cars, and then uh, also using Weldon's crash to make it even better. I mean, it was very, very tragic and sad what happened to Weldon, but we won't discuss that because of how gruesome that actually was, in my opinion. So,
Yeah,
um, but I do commend all of these series on the safety that they've put into it, especially at the speeds that they're bringing. So, great job to them all across the board. And the sprint cars are getting there too. We haven't really lost a driver in a long time, but unfortunately, it has been more recent than the series that we've been talking about. But things are getting better, and unfortunately, these cars are just so small and so light that I mean, hell, I think they're you could barely sit. I mean, I've sat in a sprint car, I've driven a sprint car, and I'm gonna tell you what, you cannot move. I mean, it's just as tight as an Indy car. You're sitting upright like you're sitting in a chair, rather than your legs being extended forward like in a normal race car. So
yeah. Wasn't the last one to get killed in a sprint car? Wasn't that Brian Clausen?
I believe that was actually a midget race, but I believe he was the last one we lost in a race. and that was very unfortunate. Brian Clausen was a hell of a guy, a hell of a driver. I mean, no different than Kyle Busch or Dale Earnhardt. I mean, it's just insane. But I think we got another one we lost was Jason Johnson.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I can't even think of any of the others that we lost before that during a race. So, I mean, it's not as bad. It's pretty fairly even across the board. But you know,
Still unfortunate, though.
but the World of Outlaws have implemented these devices that they're putting in the cars to measure like G forces and take all kinds of measurements during crashes so they can help make the safety better. So I want to give them a big shout out for that too. And I hope that the High Limit series will actually implement that into their cars. And also the World of Outlaws, I believe a year or two ago, made it mandatory to have a fire suppression system in the car. Now there have been a few glitches with that, but at least they're taking a step in the right direction. And I really commend them on that as well. So, um, enough about that kind of stuff because it's pretty sad. I don't want to jinx any of the series either. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that was an amazing finish, though, man. I mean, we watched that race, and I'm gonna tell you what that was just a gutsy move, if you ask me. And I thought the race was won coming through the last corner, and like, nope, I was wrong. I thought it was over with, but so
yeah.
here's another question
What's up?
that somebody answered it for me a while back, and I completely forgot the answer. But so when you see the cars come off of the corner and then start to go down the straightaway, why do they move to the inside of the racetrack so far down like they do?
I think it's just to pick up extra speed, and it's easier for them to have a throttle play, and it's easier on the car too. It doesn't affect the car as much. It doesn't make it get upset, I guess you could say. It's fair car handling.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it's like odd, because you go from watching NASCAR on this very same racetrack where they try to get as high as they can down the straightaway and then cut as low as they can in a corner to watching these guys where they come off the corner and get as low as they can and then cut back up the track just to be able to make the turn. So it was interesting and it's kind of confusing if you don't really know what you're looking for. So
Yeah,
just
it's the
thought
way
I
they.
I just thought I'd ask that because someone asked me that at work today and I didn't even know how to answer it because I don't have the answer. But
Yeah,
I figured I would ask that for anybody that watches the show and they could get an answer too. So, um,
yeah.
but
If you want
you
to know
know,
how much,
I
uh,
I don't know, man. I'm still amazed by the speeds these guys pull in Indy cars. And F1 cars at that. I mean, they're almost the same car. They're not exactly the same, but the concept of the cars are the same. And I'll tell you
yeah,
what is amazing. But
yeah,
not
they're good.
not a lot of passing happens in this type of racing. Especially corner passing stuff like that. But a lot of it happens in the pits and strategy calls. That's where I get so many people tell me that they get bored with Indy or F1 because of, it's a lot of follow the leader, especially in like F1 because you have certain uh, places on the course that you cannot even pass. You're not allowed to pass. There are set passing zones in F1, and then there are set no passing zones. So it can be kind of confusing if you don't know what you're looking for. But IndyCar and F1 are more of a strategic race rather than a battle of the drivers. So, and that's just my opinion. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just how I have always seen it.
Yeah, I always looked at like your race strategy is the one that leads the driver into victory or defeat. And for Penske, of course, you got Tim Cindric, Austin Cindric, dad leading that team. And I think that he made a really good call for Malukas to have him. Malukas almost win his first 500 Sunday.
I really loved it when they, oh man, who was it? The number nine car, but I can't remember the driver's name. When they pulled him down pit lane because of the weather and the delay, and they had the guy's wife on camera, like they need to stop the race, and it's great to see the atmosphere of what it is, and a lot of people don't see that part of the sport. They don't see behind the scenes,
Yeah, that
and
was Scott Dixon's wife, Emma.
that's who it was. Yeah. But man, oh man, it was and just the entire atmosphere of the Indy 500 from the start of the day to the finish of the day. Not even mentioning the racing. I'll tell you what, they do a great job of displaying appreciation for the people that we lost and the heroes that fought to keep this country free. And I'm gonna tell you, they do an amazing job of keeping that tradition alive for what, 110 years now?
Yes, 110 years.
I mean, it's amazing. And it gets better and better and better. And I hope to be part of it someday in person, even though I'm not a IndyCar guy. That is something I do hope I get to be part of someday and just see it and experience it in person.
Yeah, that was like my sixth or seventh Indy 500 in my life. I mostly go to NASCAR at the Speedway because I'm more NASCAR than anything out of those two series. But do you want to know how much he won there, Russ?
Wise,
What's that?
and how much he won money wise?
Yeah, money wise, yes.
What was that?
He personally Felix Rosenquist went home with a record high of $4.34 million.
Damn, is that what he gets to take home, or does that have to be split with the team?
Team, they got a separate check, but that right there, 4.34 million was his check alone for just himself.
Damn, I'm in the wrong business.
Right?
I should have
I mean,
pursued my dreams of being a race car driver, man.
uh, I wanted to be a race car driver too, but my uncle that got me into racing a long time ago was like, "You're just too damn big, Jason. You're too tall." It's like, ugh. So that shot my dreams down to drain. But I'm very thankful.
Always, I always give all the credit for me getting into racing to my dad. I mean, they they grew up at the racetrack. I grew up at the racetrack, but mine was dirt racing. So, excuse me, but I love dirt track racing, especially sprint cars. Nothing against any other forms of cars on the dirt. Just I had family that raced sprint cars, so naturally that's why my love for sprint cars evolved. So, um, and as a kid, I always wanted to race a car, but I also found it interesting in a show, a spectacle, whatever you want to call it, of the flagmen. and that was something I always wanted to do too. So I mean, since I couldn't end up driving a car, I mean, I raced for a little while, but got married, had kids, family started growing, and your obligations kind of change. So I actually got into flagging. Started at the local go-kart track. I ended up on the flag stand at Fremont Speedway for a season, flagging sprint cars and trucks. And once in a while, a late model race that they would come in. They don't run late models there regularly, but um, man, it's just a rush to be on the flag stand with those cars going by you at 100 plus miles per hour. And there's nothing in the world that feels anything like that. And I'm so glad that I actually got to experience all of that myself. But I um, I have been retired for a couple of years now. Unfortunately, that wasn't a choice that I wanted, but someone else come in, took over the racetrack that I was at. They didn't see a need for two guys. I was the low guy on the totem pole, so I kind of got the cut. So unfortunately, and nobody has really been hiring for a flagman. So I tried to get in at Mansfield, but they had a more experienced guy that they felt they wanted to go with. So, they chose him instead. Hey, no hard feelings. I understand. So, maybe one day I'll make it back up there. Maybe one day I won't. But to be able to have done it for 10 years in many different types of racing, flagging at real racetracks to backyard tracks to makeshift tracks at county fairs, and it's been quite an experience, and I absolutely love it. So, but I guess I should probably move on to the World of Outlaws and get all that in. So, um, Carson Macedo's Jacksonville Bullring Masterclass is what I'm going to call exactly what it was. So the World of Outlaws they could actually commence its grueling Midwest stretch on Thursday at Illinois' Jacksonville Speedway for their rescheduled Hy-Vee Perks 40. Pole sitter Cole Macedo led the field of green in his 2C racing number 2C. And Spencer Basin got the early jump with Carson Macedo slotting his all ball number 41 into second. Now, for those of you that don't know, Cole Macedo and Carson Macedo are actually brothers. Pretty obvious, but some people don't know that. But yeah, just because they have the same name doesn't mean they're related. I mean, I don't think Steve Kinzer was related to Mark Kinzer at all. And if they were, it was like very, very distant cousins, from what I understand. But basically, they weren't related at all, and they raced together for decades. So, but however, Spencer Basin got the early jump with Carson Macedo slotting his number 41 into second. Knowing that clean air is a paramount on a short track, Carson Macedo made a highly aggressive move on lap 3, finding a pocket of moisture on the extreme high side of turns 1 and 2 to actually rocket past Baston for the lead. The battle was far from over, and as the leaders encountered heavy lap traffic, the track began to slick off, taking away the topside grip. Spencer Basin, driving the Stenhouse Marshall Racing number 17, reeled Macedo back in, and Basin actually executed a series of slide jobs, and the two actually traded the lead many times in a breathtaking display of short track driving. Basin ultimately wrestled the lead away, but on lap 18, he pushed his car past the limit. Entering turn 3, Basin hit a rut, causing his car to bicycle and plow into the outside wall hard. And Carson Macedo capitalized immediately, crossing back underneath Basin to reclaim the lead. Despite a late race caution that actually set up a single file restart, Macedo drove away in clean air to secure the victory. The win was Carson Macedo's 60th career World of Outlaws feature win, making him only the 16th driver in history to reach that milestone. He also became the first driver in 7 World of Outlaws visits to Jacksonville to win multiple features at that racetrack, backing up his 200 2019 win with Kyle Larson Racing. Spencer Baston recovered to finish second, with Cole Macedo finishing third to register his best finish of the season, as Sheldon Haudenschild and David Gravel completed the top five. Gravel set his ninth quick time of the year in qualifying, while Cole Macedo won the dash. Skylar G won the last chance showdown, and Emerson Axum earned hard Charger honors, actually slicing from 22nd to 13th, and Donnie Schatz settled for 7th. Um, the momentum of Aaron Reitzel, though, is this man is on a roll. So Aaron Reitzel reached legendary status on Saturday. Um, yeah, Saturday was the opening night of the Stars and Stripes Salute. That's what the World of Outlaws was calling this, and that was actually at the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville Raceway. So Reisel entered the night as the hottest driver in dirt track racing. He's won 5 of his last 7, or on Saturday, up until Saturday, he won 5 of his last 7 features. And on Knoxville's massive half mile, he actually proved that his team's speed translates seamlessly from short bull rings to big ovals. Reitzel set the tone early, claiming the Simpson quick time in Group A qualifying, and he lined up on the outside of the front row for the 25 lap A main alongside pole sitter Donnie Schatz. At the drop of the green flag, Reitzel used a superior launch on the cushion of turn 1 to sweep past Schatz and take the lead. As the race actually went green to checker, Reitzel was in a league of his own. He reached lap traffic by lap 8, using a tall gear ratio to keep his engine in its optimal power band down the long straightaways. While Reitzel checked out, a furious battle erupted behind him. Rico Abreu passed Schatz for second on lap 2, but Schatz battled back, sliding Abreu in turn 4 on lap 10. Abreu crossed back under to retake second on lap 14, only for Schatz to execute a carbon copy slide job with 6 laps to go, or, and actually secure the runner-up spot for good. But out front, Aaron Reitzel cruised across the line to claim a $20,000 prize, beating Schatz by a comfortable margin. Rico Abreu finished third to secure his 5th consecutive national podium, with David Gravel 4th and J.J. Hickle a surprising 5th. Austin McCall crossed the line in 6th, but was disqualified in post-race inspection for actually losing a muffler, and that actually violates the series' strict weight and decibel rules. Excuse me. Reitzel's win was actually his 6th victory in the month of May and his 8th career World of Outlaws victory, pushing his monthly earnings well past $120,000 just in a month, Jason. Just in a month.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. It's
Yeah,
impressive too,
I wish I made 120 grand in a month.
right? Same here.
The second leg of the Stars and Stripes salute was originally scheduled for Sunday at South Dakota's Huset Speedway, but was actually postponed to Monday, which was last night. And that was kind of kind of sucked because I didn't want to wait to watch that. But um, that was also a $20,000 to win Memorial Day finale, and it produced a textbook display of driver adaptation and high bank short track execution. We'll just say, but at first, Buddy Kofoid and the Roth Motorsports team actually looked beatable. Um, he kind of held back a little bit, but the Honest Abe roofing qualifying charts actually showed Kofoid qualified in a disappointing 23rd, 23rd overall in the 35 car field. That left him actually lining up in 6th place for his heat race with odds heavily against him, finding his way to the top 2 though by the end of his heat race to actually transfer into the Toyota Dash and the redraw. So, but however, the 83 came to life as the track slicked, Kofoid ripped his way forward to a second place finish in his heat. Misfortune bit again in the redraw, though, when Kofoid pulled the 8, the worst pill available, and that kind of sucked. But he managed to advance only one spot in the dash, which actually set him up to start seventh in the feature. So kind of sucked for Kofoid there, but yeah, it's Buddy. He'll manage. So when a green flag waved, Kofoid actually reminded the field why Huset's has essentially become his personal bank. He sliced by some of the best sprint car drivers in the country, and he marched onto the podium by lap 7. Out front, Aaron Reisel had jumped from the outside of the front row to lead the opening 12 laps, but on lap 13, Kofoid used a brilliant low-line maneuver in dirty air to slip underneath Reisel and assume the lead. From there, Kofoid dissected lap traffic and pulled away to a massive, nearly 4-second margin of victory, 3.77 or 7.66 seconds to be exact, over Sheldon Haudenschild. Upon climbing out of his car, Kofoid actually delivered a deep bow to the front stretch crowd, paying tribute to Kyle Busch's signature post-race move, just like everyone else over the weekend. You know, um, Monday's triumph, though, marked Kofoid's third consecutive victory at Huset Speedway and his sixth career victory with the World of Outlaws at that facility. He has now won 5 of the last 7 World of Outlaws races, um, and has not finished worse than fourth in his heat or in his last 8 Huset's appearances. Now this is all Huset's. He hasn't won 5 of the last 7 World of Outlaws races, just 5 of the last 7 at Huset's. So the win was his 6th of the year, and that gives him sole possession of the most World of Outlaw features won so far in 2026. Haudenschild took the runner-up spot in the KCP Racing number 18, admitting post-race that he actually struggled to navigate lap traffic as efficiently as Kofoid. Reisel completed the podium in third, while points leader David Gravel mounted a late race charge to finish fourth. Donnie Schatz completed the top 5. In the undercard late model street stock division, Trevor Tesh led all 18 laps of the Nordstrom Automotive main event to actually secure his second career Huset's win. But it was amazing. I love dirt track racing. Buddy actually held back in that race, and I rewatched it today. Piece of fuzz flying around here keeps landing on me, but I rewatched it, the highlights today, and I'll tell you, Huset's is Buddy's track. I mean, he won over 100 grand there just last year, and this guy can drive a sprint car. I've watched Buddy since he started, and he's gone from making all those rookie mistakes in just a matter of a few years to becoming a veteran driver, winning with the World of Outlaws, and making a full blown career out of this, and actually being able to drive one of the best cars in the country. And that Roth Motorsports car is one of, if not the best car in the country, right up there with David Gravel's car, and the big game motorsports car. And these two guys put on a show week in and week out, and I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of these two guys racing each other, man. You know, I can't pick World of Outlaws over High Limit. I like to watch it all. Um, I just, dude, dirt racing is my thing. So, but um, as the calendar transitions into June, though, the physical and mechanical toll of the summer grind is beginning to separate the elite operations from the rest of the field. Spire Motorsports' sudden surge, winning the Dover truck race with Busch and the Coca-Cola 600 with Suárez, indicates their collaborative alignment with Hendrick Motorsports is yielding massive gains in intermediate track aerodynamic profiles. In the dirt ranks, The technical chemistry of Aaron Reitzel and the Ridge and Sons crew has actually established a benchmark that requires rivals to rethink their shock blade configurations and wing actuator timing on slick surfaces. For points leader David Gravel, the $2,000 fine that he was issued a few weeks ago by World of Outlaws officials for missing a promotional event serves as a minor distraction as the team actually prepares to defend its points lead and its title heading into the high grip summer ovals. So not quite sure. Anything else to add for Indy?
I only have one take back or negative feedback on the 500. And this is after the race. Me and my party that went to the race, we had to wait 3 hours until after the race was over to get out of our parking lot to get home. That's the only negative thing I could say about the whole experience.
Tell you, man, we went to the clash at Bowman Gray last year, and which was the first year it was there. And being such a small facility, all that, um, we I think it took us 20 to 30 minutes to get away from the track. I mean, it didn't take us but 5 minutes to get out of the damn parking lot that we were parked at, but to make it through the whole slew of things you had to go through to get actually start being able to drive steadily away from the track. I think it took us, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes. It wasn't very long at all, and it wasn't disappointing at all. The hardest thing about that entire thing was probably how crowded it was inside the facility during the event. I mean, you could hardly move. I mean, you're literally hunching your shoulders together and just squeezing through people just to get to the restroom. And that wasn't a very comfortable experience, but I'll tell you what, other than that, it was great. And I'm glad that I went and I don't regret it at all. So, um, hopefully NASCAR can maybe limit the people. I know they want to make as much money as possible, but maybe put a limit on the people if you're going to keep it there. I know that they're talking about moving it, this, that, and the other, and they need to quit moving shit around and just make up their damn minds already. I mean, and the All Star race was absolutely horrible at Dover. Do not ever take it back there. Put it back in Charlotte where it belongs, um, and leave it at that.
Yes, tradition at Charlotte. They should have never took it out of Charlotte in the first place.
Now, the only exception to taking it out of Charlotte was putting it at North Wilkesboro, which is a good facility to have it at, but it's not much further away. But to move it in a completely different state like they did and all that just is very upsetting. So, um, just my take on that, but that's a story for another time. And I'll actually just give my final summary and takeaways. So, the events of the past week have provided invaluable data for professional racing analysts. Daniel Suárez's Coca-Cola 600 victory demonstrated that dirty air mitigation is still the ultimate defense tool in NASCAR's next gen era, allowing a car with a two-tire deficit to hold off a pack of four-tire Chargers. Carson Macedo's victory at Jacksonville showed that finding the extreme high side moisture before the track takes rubber is the critical differentiator on short track restarts. And Layne Riggs' Truck Series victory actually highlights the strategic importance of managing fuel and track position when racing under a strict clock shortened limit. Aaron Reitzel's ability to slice through traffic was aided by uh, aggressive tire siping, which allowed his right rear tire to run cooler and maintain its structural integrity over the 25 lap green flag run. But the racer world now shifts its focus to Charlotte's post race um, tech and high bank clay of Huset's and River Cities being in the past. In both disciplines, the championship favorites remain those who can adapt their mechanical baselines faster than the track surface shifts. So I'll just end with this. The past 5 days have provided some of the most emotionally trying and historically significant moments of the 2026 racing season. The sudden passing of Kyle Busch has left an undeniable void in the stock car racing community. Yet the on-track triumphs of Daniel Suárez, Ross Chastain, and Layne Riggs served as a fitting tribute to his relentless rowdy legacy. Meanwhile, in the dirt sprint car world, Aaron Reitzel's dominant form at Knoxville and Carson Macedo's short track brilliance have set up an incredible summer battle, and Buddy Kofoid's masterclass at Huset's only tightens the script, making the looming month of money, a highly anticipated war of attrition. For the drivers and teams, the lesson of this week is clear. Motorsports is a fragile, high speed world where you must cherish every victory, trust your team's preparation, and always keep hunting for the next groove. Remember, we bring you race recaps, breakdowns, and all those insane adrenaline packed moments every week. Whether you live for those sideways, mudslinging, dirt track slide jobs, or the door banging, paint trading action in NASCAR, you belong right here. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss a finish. And until next time, keep switching grooves. I'm Russ Fritz saying race hard, stay safe, and we'll see you there. Good night.